and welcome back to a new video, and this video will be actually a little bit sad this time, but more about this later. And let's start at the beginning. I actually started to film this video a week ago and I had some plans, but it didn't work out as I wanted to. I went to a food festival here in Barcelona, and after that I went directly to my studio because from there it was only like a 10-minute walk. So I went there and I wanted to reorganize my studio a little bit. I wanted to put my table on the other side and I wanted to paint the first time on the white wall, which is not really a wall and it is a little bit unstable, but I wanted to try it. But I forgot so many things. I forgot the wall mounting stripes, I don't know if you call it like that, something to stick it on the white wall to hang my canvas without putting a nail into the wall. Yeah, I forgot everything that I needed, and also I needed to edit my latest video and I was a little bit late with that. So I spent almost the whole day editing, and yeah, so now I have this footage and I didn't know what to do with it. But I thought that I will show it to you now. I wanted to show you a little bit the food festival and also how I rearranged my studio. So let's take a look at that and enjoy watching it. So I'm back in the studio now, and today I want to clean up the space a little bit and also maybe change the layout. I thought about putting this table again on the other side because it would be really nice to paint directly on a white wall, because this wall I can't paint there directly because it's not flat. So yeah, it's difficult then, and maybe then here is my working space. So I want to change this now, and again it is so hot. It's almost impossible to be here, but I will try. I will open the doors again. I close them because then it's a little bit more quiet and I can speak. Because today I'm alone here again, because on Sunday most of the time there's nobody. And yeah, it's so hot. And I will bring some things home. Maybe these paintings that I packed up like 3 videos ago. Also some things that shouldn't be in my art studio, like diaries or personal notebooks and stuff like that. I put it here because before I lived in a really small apartment, and then it was nice to put it somewhere else so that we have more space there. But there's one problem. I actually wanted to paint something today because here I have just a small one, a little blank canvas, and yeah, I wanted to try the first time doing it here on the wall, but I forgot the thing. I don't know the word. It's I didn't want to put nails in the wall, but we have some things to stick on the wall to hang something up, like I did in my apartment with my paintings that I hang up, so that you can also easily get it off later. But I forgot them at home. Like always, I forgot something. It's really annoying. So I think today I will just pack some things and clean up the space a little bit, and yeah, later on another day we will paint. But yeah, it will be a little studio vlog, a little new painting, a little reorganization, and maybe some news. I will see. And yeah, let's go. you just saw, I put my table on the other side and yeah, I wanted to paint on the wall. As I mentioned, it didn't work out. And since the last time that I picked up my camera, a lot of things have changed. And actually, this will be my last day in my studio. I will spend the last time there. I will paint my last painting in my art studio. And I will also talk about how I, in the first place, got this place, where I found the place, and why I decided to look for an art studio like this, how the idea came and everything. And I just want to spend a relaxed day with you in my art studio. I will miss it a lot, but maybe I have some news, maybe I have a new place, but more about this in the future. And now let's spend together my last day in my art studio and have a relaxed evening there, paint my last painting. And yeah, it will be sad, but I'm also happy to have this day still, to say goodbye to my perfect studio. It was a great time, but now I will drive there and I will take you with me. It all started with this book, A Little Life. In the story, there is a character called JB who is an artist, and he shares a studio space with other creatives. I absolutely loved how he described the way with the subway to the studio and how he listened and watched the other studio members paint. This story sparked something in me. I had spent years working in cafes and co-working spaces, mainly for my freelance illustrator job. But I never really considered having my own space, and especially not a place like JB described, something like a shared studio for artists. Where I come from in Germany, something like this would never exist. But since I live in such a big and beautiful city, I gave it a try and looked for spaces exactly like JB's. And after a very short time, I already found one. A studio space for artists right here in Barcelona. There was one I fell in love with immediately. I contacted the owner, but he said he was still on vacation and wouldn't return for another month. So I kept looking for alternatives. I found 2 other places that I liked and I scheduled a visit for both. The first one wasn't really for me. I didn't feel that this would be right, so I decided against it. The second one was way better. The woman who showed me everything was lovely and very welcoming, and I felt like I could truly belong there. But the space was tiny, windowless, and with not much light. But still, I convinced myself it would work. And afraid of missing out, I said I would take it. I was super excited and I actually packed already my things and planned the move. And then, literally the night before I was supposed to move in, I got a message. Someone else, a friend of the group, had taken the space. I was crushed, but life has its ways. A few weeks later, the viewing for the first studio finally happened. And the moment I stepped in, I knew this was it. Sunlight hit the room, it was spacious, open, and yet fully my own, with massive doors I could swing open, fresh air and an energy that felt like home. I said yes immediately, and somehow this time everything worked out. Luckily, I didn't get the second space. What I thought was a loss turned out to be a blessing. From the very beginning, I knew I didn't just want a room to paint in. I wanted community, just like JB. And this was a really big warehouse with, I think, around 20 other artists who all had their own private space. I wanted to be around people who get it, who understand the silence of creating, the joy of messy hands, the chaos of color and canvas. And that's exactly what I found. There was something magical about painting there in the evenings, hearing brushes stroke canvas in the distance, imagining the stories that were unfolding just a few meters away. We were all in our own little worlds, and yet we were together. Some of my favorite memories happened in that space. Friends visited, we had wine and painting nights, laughed until midnight. It was the first place I felt like I had a creative home. Especially back then, I was living in a tiny one-room apartment with my roommate and 2 cats, and that studio was my escape, my safe space, my creative world. I will forever be grateful for it. But then life changed. We finally found a new apartment, something we had been searching for over a year. It was beautiful, with much more space, a new beginning. But it also meant something else. The new place was much further from my studio. I had to take 2 crowded buses, switch lines, and it took over an hour each way. I tried to push through, and at first I told myself it was okay, that the time lost was worth the space I loved. But slowly the realization hit me. I started going less and less. Whenever I did make the trip, I arrived tired, frustrated, and uninspired. My full-time job already drained most of my energy. Losing 2 hours just to commute, to paint, it became too much. My creative joy started turning into resentment, and I hated that.
Every step forward is another add-on. Through every break and fall, we need to stay strong. And as time goes by, we get settled in our ways. No matter how hard we try, the feeling stays. You get right through my shield, like raindrops on a field. You pour down the dry cracks, and the earth comes alive. Wherever there's love, there's bound to be strains. We push on through the rain. I know that things must change. I want to live again. I want to live again. Throw it all at me. The spark hit the golden child. We both know who is right, through the screaming and the wild, through all the tears and all the pain, the late night deliberations. You know I'd do it all again. Yeah, I do it all again. You get right through my shield, like raindrops on a field. You pour down the dry cracks, and the earth comes alive. Wherever there's love, there's bound to be strains. Oh, we push on through the rain. I know that things must change. I want to live again. I want to live again.
Eventually, I had to be honest with myself. No matter how much I loved that space, it just didn't work anymore. And so I made the incredibly hard decision to leave. Letting go felt like giving up on a dream, but it wasn't. It was choosing to make space for something new, because growth often comes with discomfort, with change, with loss, but also with possibility. I have now found a new solution, something more sustainable, and it is actually completely different to my old space. And I need to get used to it first, but I think I can do something great there. But more about this in the upcoming videos. Before I end this video, I want to share one last story with you. As you just saw, I showed you the process of my last painting here in my old art studio. There was this one white canvas still in the studio, leaning against the wall, and I thought, why not paint one last piece in my studio? A goodbye to this space through one final brushstroke. But what I didn't realize at first was that this was actually the very first canvas I ever painted on in this studio. I had painted over it months ago and completely forgotten. It had just been sitting there, waiting for a second chance. It was the beginning and now it had become the end. I remember filming that first painting back then, so I will link the video here in the info and in the video description in case you want to see it. It feels so magical that this one canvas will always remember of the start and the end of this studio. And because of how meaningful this moment was to me, I have decided to turn this new painting, the very last one I made in the studio, into the first official art print in my upcoming online shop. It feels right, it feels symbolic. To close this chapter with the same canvas I started with and to open a new one by sharing it with you. So if you're an artist watching this or just someone holding tightly onto something that used to serve you, I want to tell you this. It is okay to outgrow even beautiful things. It is okay to change direction. It is okay to choose ease over struggle, even if it breaks your heart a little. Because you deserve a creative life that fits into your world, that supports your growth. This goodbye wasn't easy, but sometimes we have to let go to move forward. And I believe that what comes next will be just as magical. Thank you for being here, for listening and for growing with me. Stay tuned because the next part of this journey is just getting started. And I can't wait to share it with you.